All right, hi guys. I want to have a bit of a rant for a minute. So, I'd like to think I'm quite a patient person in general, and that I'm just happy to listen to people talk about whatever because, generally speaking, if people are talking about something that interests them, then that's interesting to me because I can see that people are talking about something they like talking about. And if you have something, or if you've done something, or if something's happened that is like really interesting to you, and you want to talk about with people, then that should be something you can just talk to people about, right? But there've been a few occasions recently, and I say recently, this is the last like several months, to be honest, where I've heard other people sort of complaining about the fact that some people will just talk about the same thing like all the time. I don't really get why that's a problem, especially if it's something cool that that person has done or has happened to them. Like, I don't see why that's a problem. Let people enjoy and talk about the things they want to talk about, right? So the big thing for me that happened to me was getting the sub 4 second 3x3 solve close to a couple of years ago now, and obviously at the time it was an insane thing. It still is, but it was especially insane to me because it was by far the luckiest I've ever had in an official solve. Like, it's pretty much the luckiest I've ever been, basically. And obviously it would have been my first ever national record. The UK's first sub four, Europe's second sub four. That is an insane like achievement, milestone, like random chance thing that could have happened, right? And obviously at the time, with Asian sub four and with everything else that happened, loads of people were talking about it, and I was talking about it all the time. And it was nice to be able to enjoy it, and to especially the following few comps that I went to would all be different combinations of people that maybe I hadn't seen in person since before I got the three. And so people would come up and say congratulations and all of that, for quite a bit of time after it had happened, right? And I'll be completely honest, in my mind right now, it's still pretty much as insane as it was back then, back like nearly 2 years ago. And I will more than happily just talk about it if it comes up in conversation. And certainly at the time, I would just kind of just start talking about it with people. I would just say, "Oh, well, that was so crazy, wasn't it?" Or well, whatever. But I would bring it up, and after a while, I thought, okay, it's been a while. I don't like. There's not really much more I can. There's not really much more different that I can talk about. So I won't like bring it up. But if other people bring it up, more than happy to talk about it, right? Because I want to. But after a while, I started seeing reactions in various places that seemed like a handful of people seemed to be getting a bit annoyed that I would keep talking about it, and I'm not really sure why. Because again, in most of those occasions, almost all of those occasions, I wouldn't have been the one to bring it up. It would have been someone else brought it up, and I would, continue the conversation, right? So I'm not sure why people were getting annoyed that I was talking about it. And I get if it was a case of if it was me bringing it up every time, if it was me just randomly inserting myself into a conversation and say, "Hey, look, I got a sub four, isn't that awesome?" Like, I can get why that would be annoying, but I'm not that kind of person, right? If there's something crazy happens, then yeah, I'll think about it a lot and I'll talk about it a lot of the time. But like after that, then I'll chill. I'll still think about it, obviously, and I'll talk about it if other people bring it up. But I won't be the person to bring it up because that's not the kind of person I am. So I'm not really sure why people were getting annoyed at the fact that I was still talking about it. Like, I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm not trying to, keep reminding people that it's a thing that happened and oh, I'm so good. Because one, it was luck, right? Basically, is the only reason that happened. But also, like I said, that's not the thing. That's not the thing I do. I don't like deliberately making myself the center of attention. Right? I'm not going to do that. So it does begin to get a bit on my nerves when like a handful of people and the same handfuls of people seem to like really take issue with the fact, like, whenever it just comes up in conversation, whoever is involved. And like, I don't want to get to the point where I just never talk about it ever, because someone will immediately jump on it and say, "Oh, you don't have to bring it up again." Like, I didn't all the time. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit annoying. And there's another case where in this one I'm going to try and be as vague as possible because it's not me, and also because some of the people may end up watching this. I don't know. Who knows? But recently, one of the people that I know has been on television, and from talking to that person several times, they obviously really enjoyed it, and I, enjoyed hearing about it because I think it's really cool. I think going on TV is awesome, and I like hearing about it. And I'm not going to say what because that will probably give away who it is and all of that. But that thing really interests me as well, and so I'm more than happy to talk about it. And this was only like a couple of months ago, right? This has only literally been within the last like 3 months. But recently, I've heard again a few people sort of complaining, not really like complaining, but sort of complaining that was all that person ever talked about. And like, yeah, so what? Like, what's the issue? Like, they've been on fucking TV. That's more than most people can say they've ever done. Like, it's a cool thing, right? It's an objectively cool thing. And if that person clearly really enjoyed it, let them talk about it. Have a bit of patience. I think this what this comes down to is people not having like patience. And like I said, I'd like to think I'm a patient person. There are some things that make me irritable, and sometimes I just have a bit of short fuse, especially if it's like been a long day or whatever. Let people talk about what they're interested in, and especially if it's something really cool that they've done, let people talk about it because that's a way that they can sort of express that they're proud of themselves for having done something cool. Like let people get excited about it. Because when things like that in conversations come up where people are saying, oh god, this person's talking about that thing again, like if you're that person, which again, like I have been, like I said with the three, it really does kind of feel like it's sort of belittling you because it's making it sound like it's the only thing you ever talk about, and it probably isn't, right? But even if it is, just for that while, like I said with the other person I know, it's literally been 2 months. 2 months after the three, I was still talking about it a lot, right? Because it's crazy, it's fun, it's cool, like it's really interesting, and sort of like almost having a go at people for constantly bringing it up, or it being the only thing you talk about. That just sucks the fun out of everything, and it makes it less enjoyable for you to want to talk about. Like I almost don't want to bring it up now, the fact that I have a three in just random conversations. Like I don't, like I said, I don't. But like even if someone asks me about it, I almost don't want to have a long conversation about it because I feel like some other people will come in, start say, oh, they're talking about the three again. Like, what's new? Like, I don't want that to have to be the case. Yeah, I feel like I'm repeating myself quite a lot here, which is a bit ironic given the topic. But yeah, it's just something that's really annoyed me because, like I said, I can't fathom why people get annoyed about it. I'll be honest. Like, if it was specifically me, like every other day or something, bringing it up, and in a way that was framed as like, oh yeah, I'm better than you, like aren't I incredible, like because I got this awesome thing that no one else has. But that's not the case. That's not the case in either of these scenarios. So I don't understand why people are annoyed about it. Isn't it cool to hear people being excited and talking about something cool that they've done or that's happened to them? Is that not fun? Is that not interesting? Does that not make you happy? Like share other people's happiness, right, and excitement for these things that have happened, right? I don't want to immediately label it as like jealousy or anything because I'm sure it isn't. And like maybe there is a tiny like subconscious bit of that people don't realize, but it's just not that deep. Like it's really just not that deep. Like if it's scenarios like that, people just want to talk to their friends, other people, about something cool that they've done. Like that's literally it. And like certainly for me, maybe it wouldn't have been quite such a big deal if I'd had like other sort of like comparable results, I guess. Not comparable, but like if I'd had other NRs, or like before or since, if I'd had other records, or if I'd had like major podiums or things like that, maybe then it would be different, because then I would have other stuff to be proud of. Not that I don't have other stuff to be proud of, like other results, but like quantifiable, like distinctly like marked results to be proud of. Maybe if I had that, then maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is I haven't had any other NRs. It's the closest I've ever been still. And it's by far my best world ranking, obviously. And I suspect it will be forever. But that shouldn't matter one way or another. It should just be something that, whatever the situation, whoever brings it up, you should just be able to like still be happy for that other person. And even if you don't want to hear it, right, even if you're just not in the mood for or whatever, even if you do find it annoying, you don't have to vocalize those opinions, because all that does is makes the person who's talking about it, me, feel worse about it. and feel like they shouldn't be talking about it, or they don't want to talk about it because they're going to get jumped on by other people who think that it's pointless, or whatever. Like, even if you feel that way, like I don't want this video to come across as me saying you're wrong for feeling like annoyed or anything like that. I like, just like me personally, I wouldn't ever feel that way, but that's me. Other people are different people. But if you do feel annoyed by people talking about the same thing over and over again, you don't have to involve yourself in those conversations. You don't have to be around the whole time, and you especially do not have to keep complaining publicly about it. You don't have to keep going on to other people or in Discord servers or whatever, saying, oh god, not this again. You don't have to do that, because then everyone can see, and then maybe in future, if other people do cool stuff, or if cool stuff happens to them that hasn't happened yet, maybe they'll think, oh, but I won't necessarily want to share it so much, because people won't necessarily be excited and share the same excitement, and that's really, like, that's something that shouldn't happen, right? So yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it is just a patience thing. Maybe some people just aren't as patient as they think they are. Or I don't know, maybe people just need to, like, actively try and share other people's happiness and like positive emotions and all of that, and just be nice to people, and not like immediately jump on people for just talking about the same thing over and over again, because whether you're entitled to or not, if it makes you happy and if it's something that you enjoy talking about, that should be the end of it. You should just be able to do that, right? I don't know. And like I said, maybe I am biased just because I'm one of the people that this has happened to. Who knows? It's something interesting that I thought about, and I wanted to have a ramble about it, and this has gone on for quite a while now, so I'm going to wrap it up. Yeah, that's about it for today. See you tomorrow.